Being able to talk to anyone isn't about saying the perfect words, but about creating a connection. To master this, you must learn 3 things: how to listen, how to make people feel understood, and how to guide the conversation. In this class, you are going to learn the art of communication. Most people do not listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply. People crave to be heard. If you can feed this craving, you'll be regarded as trustworthy and safe. Why? According to Tony Robbins, man has 6 needs. The 3rd need happens to be significance. When you actively listen to someone, you're saying, you matter. This simple act disarms defensiveness, builds trust, and opens doors to deeper conversation. Did you notice the word I used a moment ago? Active. If you are engaging in a conversation strictly to get something from the other person, whether it be validation, praise, money, etc., then don't bother initiating a conversation. I am not saying that you shouldn't make your needs known, but what I am saying is don't disguise the conversation as a sheep when you know there's really a wolf underneath. This is one of the quickest ways to lose respect and trust. How to be an active listener, the 70-30 rule. Spend 70% of the time listening and only 30% speaking. When you do speak, learn how to ask open-ended questions that encourage the other person to share. Closed-ended questions don't go into depth. For example, did you enjoy your trip? Answer, yes. Thank you. Remember this rule of thumb. Don't ask 2-star questions expecting a 5-star response. Try this instead. What was the most exciting part of your trip? This small shift shows that you care about the details, transforming surface-level conversations into meaningful exchanges. Empathy. As they speak, pay attention to key points to show that you are listening. For example, if they mentioned, my laptop fell and wiped out all of my files, respond with, all of your files? Oh my gosh. How are you handling that? Why it works. When you listen, you align yourself with the human desire to feel valued. This puts people at ease and makes them feel more receptive to what you have to say. As Daniel Carnegie said in How to Win Friends and Influence People, you can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get people interested in you. Another way of making people feel understood is by being relatable. Psychologically, people are more drawn to those who seem similar to them. Why? Because familiarity signals safety and trust. A famous study done in 1999 demonstrated this effect. In their research, participants were paired with an experimenter who either mirrored their body language or didn't. When the experimenter mirrored the participants reported liking them more and feeling a greater sense of connection. This is because it's activating something in your brain called mirror neurons. These neurons are responsible for recognizing and mimicking actions or emotions we observe in others. For instance, when you see someone smile, your mirror neurons activate and you're more likely to smile back. Share small vulnerabilities. Relatability is amplified when you show you're human too. For instance, if someone mentions they're nervous about a presentation, you might say, I totally get that. I always get butterflies before speaking in front of people. By doing this, you are creating emotional safety. When people feel that you are like them, even in the smallest of ways, they lower their guard. You become someone they feel comfortable talking to instead of just another stranger. A conversation is a dialogue, not a monologue. To truly connect, you must learn to steer conversations without dominating them. Guiding a conversation is about bringing out the best in the other person, keeping the flow engaging and ensuring they leave the interaction feeling good about themselves and about you. Let me give you a practical example. The power of, tell me more. If they mention a hobby like gardening, you would ask, what got you into that? Or, what's the most rewarding part about it? This encourages them to expand on something they are passionate about, making the conversation more meaningful. To do this well, keep in mind 3 types of questions. Open-ended questions. What's been the highlight of your week so far? Follow-up questions. They might say, I'm a photographer. Follow up by asking, what kinds of photos do you like taking most? Curiosity-based questions. This requires you to remember something they hinted at but didn't fully explain. You mentioned you traveled recently. Where did you go?